Hey y'all, it's May the 10th, 2017, and I know a person. Uh, y'all might know people out there. I know a person who has definitely a pretty illustrious internet presence slash career ahead of her if she chose to do so. All right, and I'm not saying people should choose to do so. There's all sort of things you could do with your life. All right, but this lady, she's been doing pretty good videos, putting out some pretty dang good quality content on the internet, and she's just starting to come into her own, if you will. All right, and the other day, a little while back, she put out there a kind of an open-ended kind of question or request from viewership to help her out if they have any sort of tips. As far as the fact is, lots of times she doesn't speak very good. All right, she finds that before she says things in her mind, it kind of gets all boggled up, and then it comes out as nothing. She can't really speak all that well. She can't speak as good as she wants to, at least, and you could deem her as a little bit insecure in that way. All right, so she was looking for tips as to how she could kind of avoid this sort of thing. A lot of people gave suggestions and whatnot. I want to go ahead and put my 2 cents in there because I feel like that's right down my alley. I mean, basically, that is the entirety of what's taking place for me on YouTube anyways. All right, the fact is, if you go back to my very earlier videos, you're going to see a guy who he could not even talk very fast, and he had a lot of trouble conveying his points. That was me. All right, so I made that kind of struggle, and I gotta admit that in some sort of way, that is kind of what happens in my mind, and it probably happens in a lot of y'all's mind out there. Your head gets so boggled up with information, you're not sure how to get it out right and how to speak the right words that you want to. Right, and then it causes you to freeze up a little bit and stuff, and it makes you insecure and stuff. Sometimes I've completely dealt with that. There's been many videos where I just totally messed up and had to erase the whole video. All right, so here's the tips that I want to give as far as, and it might not relate to everybody else, but the tips that I want to give as far as to kind of overcome that is this. All right, you're a person out there, you're not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. All right, so here's the thing. All right, you're not going to get out the entirety. You know all sort of facts in your brain, and you're trying to piece them together when you're doing reports, when you're investigating and stuff. You got all that flying around in there. You're not going to be able to convey all your points. This is what I want to guarantee you. If you're anything like me, you're not going to be able to convey all your points. Right? It's kind of what you want to do. In a sense, you try and get into a video or something like that, and you want to convey all the things, all the details of what it is that you're talking about. You're not going to be able to do it. All right, so in a sense, you kind of have to let go of that whole notion that you're going to be able to do it, and you're going to have to know that you're not going to do it. All right, so in a way, if you start to embrace that a little bit more, it does take the tension off a little bit, to know that there's all sort of good points in your head. You're not going to be able to get them all out. You got to focus on one or two at a time. Not only that, I feel like you do this very well, or this lady out here, and a lot of y'all do it very well, is you listen. All right, and you let the conversation, if that's what you're having, kind of lead you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you'll continue to grow more comfortable, all right, in speaking what it is that you're trying to convey out on the internet. I also want to explain this. There's all sort of people out there who are absolutely eloquent and just so articulate that you could listen to them for a whole hour, and they'll just continuously talk for a whole hour, naming point after point after point after point after point. All right, you and me and this girl out there. What we need to understand is these people out there, right? They are so articulate. They are so eloquent. We do want to be like them, but not only that, they've been doing what they've been doing for a long time. They've been saying the words that they've been saying for a long, long time. I mean, they've said them over and over and over and over again over the years. Like, if you were to listen to an Alex Jones, for example, this is the kind of person who can just talk and talk and talk and not even hardly take a breath. All right. But at the same time, he's been saying these exact things for 20 some odd years. All right. He has a way of speaking about him that it just becomes very rhythmic and mechanical and just comes out. You really don't have to concentrate too much on all the details. You don't have to have necessarily a battle in your mind anymore, because you know so well what you're talking about. And that's going to happen to anybody and everybody, especially people out there, young budding YouTubers out there. They're going to understand that if you just keep talking about what you've been talking about, if you do not let it go, if you just keep talking about it, pretty soon you're going to be an expert on that. Pretty soon all the words are going to just come spilling out of your mouth. You won't even have to think very much about it. All right. And that takes time. It takes patience. All right. You just got to keep with it. And you got to understand, even a dope like me, dude, I could never speak this fast. I could never come up with so many ideas and link them all together and stuff the way that I can now. I'm not so great at it still, but even I can make some good progress that way. You need to kind of like relieve the pressure off of yourself and stuff, because that's what affected me. You start to think, is what I'm about to say the most important thing or the most pertinent thing to what we're talking about right now? And you start to guess yourself. You start to second guess yourself in your own head. And so what comes out is you're speaking, but in your own head you're thinking about something else. You're worrying about it. And you really shouldn't. All right. A lot of people give this lady they give her some guff over the fact that she's very insecure, that she has her own style, if you will, of being very insecure and saying kind of random things and stuff. There's people in her comment feed that I've studied who very much like it. All right, they like her style. They like the fact that she's quaint a little bit, and they like the fact that she has depth to her, that her story is even still being revealed. People don't know exactly where she's coming from. Right, and she's very insecure in a way, and in a way it's kind of adorable. There's a lot of people out there who do not find it that. They get very kind of bothered by the fact that this lady is kind of starting out. She's not really that sure of herself. She does have insecurities, and she does verbalize those. All right, a lot of people don't like that, but you know what? Here's what I want to suggest: forget what people like, dude. Thing is, you ain't never going to do something that everybody likes, ever. You're never going to do it, and if you do something that everybody likes, you're probably doing something very wrong. I would have to imagine. You're not ever going to make everybody happy. So in that regard, as far as people's opinions, it really doesn't matter. I personally would like to see the insecurities kind of let go and loosen for this particular YouTuber, but if she were to keep the insecurities, it really doesn't matter. That's a part of her. That's what a lot of people do find entertaining, when people are very human, when people have flaws and faults and stuff. That is very genuine, and that's necessary and stuff, man. That's why a lot of people find it very good. All right. So that all being said, there's little things out there. I want to leave on this note. There's little things out there that she'll say that she said before, this YouTuber. And if you're a YouTuber out there, there's probably little things that you say constantly and stuff. And I want to just express to you that those are your memes. You need to own them, and you need to harness their energy, because memes have so much energy. Whether you're talking about the fact that, you always have to wear makeup, or you're not sure you're saying what you want to say and stuff, and if that is what your memes are, what I would suggest is, whatever your memes are, completely embrace them, harness their power, and use them. Because not only will that help you with your speech patterns, because there'll be little lines, one-liners that you say, and you say it all the time, and that'll get you through whatever it is that you're saying. Not only that, but people love memes. All right, this will also further endure you in people's hearts. Is that people love memes, and so whatever it is you're saying, no matter how insecure people out there might be, thinking about getting into this internet game, know this: you're going to come up with memes organically off the top of your head. All right, and if you learn to embrace those, you could ride them. You can ride them to the moon and back. All right. So, anyways, I like to encourage everybody out there, hop on the internet, see if you can't get people to listen. All right, because it is the tribulation, and we are balls deep up in it. It's May the 10th, 2017, and I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.